March 1st, going in with the wood stove. Wish I did this load a little different. I thought the tailgate would be down, but this little 5.5 foot box, definitely not. So I used the tractor to lift that up and get the tailgate closed. Got a chunk of wood in there to use as a lever to help me drop the tailgate. I don't have the ramps with me. I'm gonna use a snowbank up there. The trailer is like 18 feet long. That Skandic's a little over 11 feet, and that toboggan is 10 feet in the tongue. So the math wasn't checking out, but I think if I pulled off the windshield and backed the track up over the tongue of this carry-on toboggan, maybe it would be a better load. But I didn't. The tires are wider than the box. I don't want to mess up the rental truck, so there's steel bars and stuff in there to chafe on the box liner. Anyway, this is what we started with. This is what we're going with. The stove's all wrapped up nice. It's all wrapped in industrial saran wrap or cling wrap, and then tarped and moving blanket, all cinched down in every which way. So yeah, March 1st, another 5 days are calling for, well, the whole warm week and 15 mil of rain. So spent all winter having the trail in decent shape and trying to plan help to get this in. At the very least, I'm going to tow it as far as I can and stash it somewhere if I can't get it all the way in. But yeah, do what we can today. It's cold, windy, snowing, blowing. It's going to be a fun day. Well, technology got the best of me again. The wireless Apple CarPlay kept connecting to the truck because I left it running, and every time I took some audio or footage, the audio was silent. So here we go with a voiceover. This hill I'm at the bottom of, you can see I have tracks there. I took a run at it already and spun out about 2/3 of the way up the hill. Backed up just fine until this point. Here I had to get my come-along winch out and drag the back end of the trailer over, because no matter what I was doing with the truck, it just kept steering in its own direction or following in the grooves. So I'm just pulling this back straight. I'm ever glad I brought this come along, as you'll see here, for the rest of this day. The snowbanks are quite deep, and whoever was plowing this forest access road most of the winters obviously hasn't been in a week and a half. So I got a fresh 8 inch of snow here, and a rental truck, not with the same tires, doesn't have diff lock, a bunch of other things, a couple of years of software upgrades that don't actually help with traction in deep snow. Anyway, we got this back straight. Get to dive in this deep snowbank, climb the tree, get my strap undone, and try this again. Brought the tire groomers up, hoping to run those in before I do the stove, and then let the snow tighten up, and I can haul the stove in afterwards. It was quite deep, and I had to crawl on my knees. You'll see how many times throughout today that I was in these chest deep snowbanks. Anyway, we're gonna back this up. We're gonna leave this come along sitting out. Chances are we're gonna need it again. Here we are, third attempt up the hill. I only made it 10 foot further each time, and the computer kept kicking in and cutting power to this truck and all sorts of other things that wouldn't let me up there. Anyway, I slid off to the left because this is an off-camber hill. The video doesn't do it justice, but just to put this in perspective, this hill is all gravel in the summertime, and I usually have to take a run at it, and I'm spinning in the gravel, so it's a fair incline. Anyway, we're gonna try a few things here, maybe unhook the trailer, drag it over, and see if the truck will run up on its own. Well, got the trailer unhooked and the tongue drug over to the center of the forest access road a little more. Skandic sitting in there warming up. I had a whole plan to use that 4x4 and try to push the back of the sled up, but here goes brute force. Not too bad. See if I'm back or up here. Watch my ski skins flip off. I was just trying to protect the box of the rental truck, the plastic box liner, and those skis don't fit the wide skis of the Skandic. But anyway, we got the truck completely unloaded. We're going to hop on the Skandic here, take the tire groomer off the back of the trailer, and go pack the rest of the hill so it can set up while I'm getting this truck dragged back to the center of the road. So we got out all but one strap that I had, trying to do a fairly long pull on a nice gradual angle and see if I can pull up the hill and over a bit. The first length is actually that little kinetic strap that I got off of Amazon. So the goal was that I can preload that kinetic rope, take all the stretch out of it, try to get back in the truck, and it can give me a little bit more pull while I'm trying to spin the tires. Here we go, we got tension on it. Try to move a little bit, more tension, back and forth. Tried this a bunch, but this truck just wouldn't move. So we're gonna try to go backwards here. Got to shovel it out, backed up. You can see I sunk down quite a bit on the driver's side. I had theories here to try to harvest some of this sand and dirt from in here to give myself some traction, but it was solid, froze solid. If I had my truck, I always carry a pail of salt and sand in the back, and that definitely would have helped. And I had a spade shovel in my truck, but I just have a plastic snow shovel here today. Anyway, we're going to try to just drag this truck over sideways. It actually went over with the snow-covered road quite easily. It's just slow with a manual winch. But we got the back over, drag the front end over here, and see if we can get this thing to drive up. So it still wouldn't even move forward now that we're out of the deep snow. I got hooked back up to the trailer. Well, the phone froze, so I had to put it in the truck to charge. I ended up getting the truck out. Tried backing up all the way down the hill. It was a nightmare, and I still had a couple K to go, so I took another run at the hill, and I made it within 100 yards of the turnaround. Backing back down the hill. Trailer just wants to get in ruts and go sideways. So we're right tight to the one side of the trail. We'll have to center it again. So I'm trying something different for a bit. We unloaded the carry-on, which is a little sketchy because it wanted to slide down the hill. Got her hooked up to the Skandic. Had to walk up and get that. You can see there's the hole that we just got out of. So we're gonna go all the way down, turn around, couple K out, take a run at this hill with this, and go as far as I can until I get stuck and unhook it, and that's where it's staying for this trip. And then I gotta come back, and I might just spin that trailer around with the come along or the Skandic, whatever's gonna work, and just try to get the truck the 100 yards up, turn it around and hook onto the trailer and go down. Anyway, we'll touch back in. Well, had I been able to take that 100 yards with the truck, it would have been fine the rest of the way. So just back there is where I've been parking. Since I was there last week, we've had their skidder go in. So this is going to be rough now. It's only one more valley, and then that's the end of their cut block. So it seems to be straddling inside one of the tire tracks. All right, so I got good traction with this so far, so maybe we'll get it right in. Let's not jinx ourselves. Made it to the bottom of the valley and they turned around here. So this is gonna be a mess. So this wasn't the end of it. It also wasn't very desirable coming down in that track. So we'll get through this rough mess and then we'll get on our way. I spent all this winter, all the back half of January, all of February, grooming and packing every week just to haul this in on a nice trail. And I just came across the the bumpy plowed road and the skidder track. Anyway, I have fun doing it. Well, that light was a little flat. He just came in here to shove snow over with his arm. There's a little stream that runs through here because we're expecting a wild thaw and some rain. Had I known it was that deep, I wish I shoveled some snow in. I have the little shovel there. I still might try to put some in the valley so the carry-on goes through it better. Well, I wasn't expecting this. It was good hauling the rest of the way, so I dragged it in. Grabbed that green tarp out of the coverall after I cleaned the snow off the top of it. Threw a couple boards on, and when I can get someone else up here in a couple weeks with me, we'll get it in the shelter logic. Anyway, we got to bust our way back out, grab the tire groomer, and get this truck and trailer spun around and get out of here. I don't know what I'm going to do. Try to get the trailer facing downhill. Maybe I'll set the tongue on the tires hooked onto the back of this and see if I can get it to the bottom of the hill and where the dozer shoved it a little wider, and then back the truck down the hill. And with it empty, maybe I can get it that extra 100 meters up the top of the hill, spin around, drive down, and hook onto the trailer if I can squeak by it. That's the plan. I'll let you know how it fares out. Well, a couple sweeping corners there. That's as far as I've been able to back the whole rig up to run at the hill. And we use the Skandic to haul the trailer down the hill. I use that board to pry the tongue up and over, set it on the tires, and the resistance just gotten too much here. Now, I tried to spin it around with the Skandic. It didn't work, so not sure what my next plan is. I'm gonna go up and get the truck out and turned around, and maybe I'll empty this out of snow and get it spun around so it's sitting on the tire with the plastic, and keep going with the Skandic to the turnaround. Anyway, we got like a only 800-900 meter walk up the hill. We'll get the truck. Well, truck's facing this way. Had to winch it over out of the bank to get on the trail, and then I could back all the way down, and then I let her eat and got to the top, spun her around. All right, so we're gonna shovel out all this snow. Maybe we'll get the tongue sitting a little bit better, and we're gonna try to carry on with the Skandic. It's still a ways out, and I was spinning the whole way. I had the assistance of the downhill, and once I got on the flat, I was struggling. So the dozer shoved some snow over there by that tree, and maybe there's enough clearance to get it spun around and pulled over in there, and we can get the truck by, hook it back on, load the Skandic up, and get out of here. So the Skandic tugged it a little further all the way to the next corner that the dozer has, quite a bit wider than the other spot that I had picked out. So the goal here is to try to pivot this trailer on its spot. So we'll get these the tire groomer out of here, tongue over to one side as far as we can, and come up with a plan to try to get this thing spun around and off to the side so I can get the truck by it. This 4x4 that I brought today was actually a lifesaver, because what I just did there would have taken 10-15 minutes with the come along. Anyway, we're going to give her one last little go here, try to get the tongue right in the snowbank so it can help act as a pivot, and maybe the truck be able to pull the back end around. We'll get this rigging all set up. So you can see here my tire groomer flips over quite a bit easier now that I have that flat bar across those back two smaller tires. You can see the flex when I try to flip it end over end, front to back. I used to have that even more side to side. Anyway, there we go. Dragged right around, no problem. With the rental truck, the Skandic, I just had it anchored so that it wouldn't pull it down the trail. We get hooked back up here, get everything loaded back up, and she's been quite the day. Well, it's March 9th. Back up at the property as time changed, so I've lost an hour. Made it all the way in with the truck. got my truck back finally. I got it back Thursday, driving into work Friday. I hit a deer with it. 13 hours that body job lasted. Luckily, I got slowed up enough before the deer zigged and I zagged, and I think I hit him around 20 kilometers an hour. So it's just a little license plate piece of plastic that's broke, but it's still annoying and frustrating. Anyway, we got it all the way in. My truck worked much better in those conditions than that rental. We brought the Pelican in. That was a bag of open insulation that I used to rebuild the stove. So I put it in a garbage bag, brought it up, and that's the first length of stovepipe. So we've been in here unpackaging stove, got most of the straps off, all but two. Sort of digging that out, building a little ramp. I'm gonna pull off the uprights here, get all that metal out of the way, and I'm gonna try to slide it in on those planks and then shimmy it sideways onto that sheet of plywood. We'll see how it goes, and then I might be able to pull the plastic carry-on toboggan up vertical and slide it out afterwards. We'll see. I'm in here alone, and we're gonna try to get this in here, throw that on the table in here, and then I want to haul 2 carry-ons, the Pelican and the groomer out today. Conditions for winter are not favorable for the long-term forecast, so while I have snow, I want to get everything out of here. And some of my snow bridges are already falling apart that I had to jump across, so let's do this. Got the Pelican in the back of the truck. This come along from the arborist store has been the best purchase I've ever made. So the start of the groomer, where the cutters are, was way back here by the time you had the length of the tongue on there. So I just rigged up a bridle there with the snatch block, bow shackles, winched that up like nothing. So we'll get rid of that rigging, put all that away, and then we'll put this one on the bottom, tongue facing out, and then that one on top, and get a bunch of these straps all on it, and it should be quite the load going home. Made her back, full load. Nice coming out. Help me unload.